Hey YouTube, Wolfforce here. So again, I was on my TikTok and someone in the comment section was asking how I can say that I'm against killing animals, but I very clearly have dead animals. So it sounds like doublethink, it sounds like a huge cognitive dissonance. But basically, there's nothing I can do for these animals. They are dead, they are gone, I can't bring them back to life. Last night I was actually sitting with my wolf, Kalik, the headdress rug mount. I was sitting with him thinking, oh man, you look like you were in your prime. I wish that you could have finished living out your life and become old and gray. I wish that I could bring you back to life and send you back out to Canada. It happens. He's been dead since 2008 or 2007. So he's been dead a long time. He would have been dead by now. But I do think that sometimes. I do feel bad for these animals for dying. So how can I collect dead animals and, be happy about having my collection when I don't want animals to die? That sounds weird, doesn't it? Here's the thing, the TLDR, I can't do anything for these animals. I'm not going out and killing them myself, but I can love their remains and take care of them. And I really, really am hoping soon to use them for educational purposes, to teach people about wildlife, which is one reason. I would like to use them to teach people about wildlife, to teach them about the animals in their local native ecosystems, and I would love to teach them about non-lethal control and to just respect our wildlife. So I support animal welfare. I don't support animal rights. These are very different things. Animal welfare means I think these animals should be treated as well as possible, whereas animal rights would be, I think, basically we should be completely hands-off with the animals. So these are they're similar concepts, like on a surface level, but they're very vastly different concepts. So basically, I understand and recognize that animals die, and I understand and recognize that people are going to kill animals. Do I like the fact that animals die? No. Right now, where I live, here in the U.S., it's currently breeding season, wintertime breeding season for coyotes. And so coyotes are more aggressive than usual. And because of that, more people are killing them. People on one of my local chat boards, I can't believe if it was next door or something, but somebody was talking about, oh yeah, I saw some aggressive coyotes, so I shot them. And just it makes my soul just cringe and feel bad. But I have tons of dead coyotes who were shot. So how does that make sense? It's a reasonable thing to ask. Basically, do I collect the deads? Yes. Do I enjoy having the deads? Yes, I do. But that doesn't mean that I love that we are killing the animals to obtain these deads. That's why I buy things secondhand. That's why I'm not paying someone out to go out and shoot animals for me. That's why I like buying already finished products, especially. So it sounds counterintuitive, but here's the thing: as long as humans interact with animals, animals are going to die. And as long as we live on this planet, we are part of the ecosystem, whether you want to admit it or not. And a lot of things that we do, including me making this video using electricity on a phone that was made from mined materials, this act that I'm doing right now is killing animals. And there's oil being drilled that's spilling and killing wildlife. There's pollution that's happening that's killing wildlife. There's transportation that's happening that's killing wildlife. There's a lot of things we do every single moment of every single day that we don't realize kills wildlife. Even like walking around with your shoes. The shoes, you may not realize, are breaking down very, very small particles that will get into the groundwater that eventually lead to pollution. They immediately lead to pollution technically, but they lead to a massive pollution. Microplastics are a huge issue right now in our country, for example, or for our oceans, I should say. Everything we do pretty much hurts animals in modern society. So when it comes to something larger that we can see like this with mammals being shot, let's talk about why that happens. So my mom had a raccoon that kept going into her house. It learned how to open her screen door, it learned how to open her glass sliding door, and it would come into her house. She doesn't like locking her doors because, I don't know, that would have made sense, I guess, but this raccoon kept coming into her house, so she tried to trap it. She failed at trapping it. She actually killed 2 squirrels trying to trap a raccoon because she didn't check her traps off enough, because she's not a trapper, and that's why you shouldn't do this if you don't know what you're doing. And she also she caught the neighbor's cat like 3 times. So after failing continuously and killing other animals she didn't mean to kill, she called animal control and said, hey, I've got this raccoon coming in my house. And they're like, oh yeah, we can take care of it. So they caught the raccoon, thankfully, and then they killed it, because there's no way for them to safely release that raccoon. If you release it back into the localized area, it'll just get out again, do the exact same thing as before, and have to be caught again. The raccoon doesn't know it's doing wrong. It's a raccoon. If they try to release it somewhere else, you have to have the right permits for that. You have to have the right permissions for that. You have to make sure that you're not going to cause a problem for the local ecosystem. And it's a lot more effort than they're going to put in, so they're just going to kill it because it's the easiest solution. And a lot of the times, it's the only solution they can legally take. So does it suck? Yeah. And that's why learning things like, if she just, like I kept telling her, just lock your door. You won't have a raccoon coming in your house. Eventually it'll move on. Common sense teaching people about these things, but as long as people have issues with animals, they're going to do things like this. Skunks like this are a great, are a huge problem with people who keep chickens, or I know my ducks were attacked, well, they were attacked by a raccoon, but possums, squirrels, sometimes squirrels are originated, but possums, skunks, raccoons, they all love going after poultry or smaller livestock animals even. So people will trap them, shoot them, hunt them, kill them for that, so they stop doing it. Foxes too, big time foxes. Especially like, I know I had a chicken and a turkey who were eaten by gray fox. Yes, we know it was a gray fox. And we didn't kill the fox because we said, hey, obviously we didn't make our enclosure safe enough to prevent the fox from getting them. That's on us. So you can take responsibility like that and say, that was my fault. Farmers here in the US, like larger farmers, there's entire funds set up to reimburse them for livestock attacks from wild predators, which they do take advantage of, and it costs us a lot of money, and yet they still argue that we should hunt them. Where my husband used to live, coyotes, this is a baby, but coyotes would go after the horses. They would attack horses. Where I live now, it's coyote breeding season, and there have been people who were walking their dog on a leash, and coyotes came up and attacked their dog because they are just super territorial and aggressive right now because they're in mating season. Conflicts happen. Even somebody who I used to work with had bragged about in one weekend, one guy shot some absurd amount, like 200 squirrels, because his friend who had a nut and fruit farm said, hey, we've got a huge squirrel problem. Can you please come out here and shoot them? We could fry up the squirrels after you're done, and I'll, give you some nuts and some fruit as a thank you. So this, in large scale, it happens massively. A lot of times we'll use poisoning, which is a huge issue. And honestly, I wish it was illegal. I wish poisoning of any variety was legal, but we're not there yet. We can keep working towards it. But people are going to keep killing animals as long as they see them as a problem and as long as they see them as a threat. It's very rare that the animals kill us. It does happen, but livestock, like mountain lions in California, where I lived, where it's illegal to do anything or own any parts of mountain lions, people who I worked with, who are younger than me even, were telling me how, I stayed up all night watching over my sheep because I know that there's a mountain lion who keeps going after them, and I'm going to shoot this dang mountain lion. And if you catch it in the act of harming you or your livestock, then I believe it is permissible. So it happens. And so what I would like to see is that we keep it to where, okay, if it's going to happen, let's do the least harm. Let's make sure that the ways that we kill them are the most humane as possible, if it's causing the least amount of suffering. So I'm not in favor of certain things like snares, because it can kill them quickly, but more often than not, it's gonna strangle the animal, especially if it's not set correctly or if it hits a non-target animal. I'm very against poisons because it causes immense amounts of suffering, is non-selective, and it can, move up through the food chain and kill animals who eat the poisoned animals. And it's just a huge mess, huge mess. Um, there's no humane way to poison something. That's why I recognize that we have, so hunting and trapping and fishing are the reasons we have so much protected land, which I wish we had more protected land. The area outside my backyard is actually a designated wilderness area, designated wildlife area. I wish there was more like it. I really do. But we owe hunters that, because way back in the day, I can't remember the years, I don't have notes on me, they decided, hey, they saw, if we don't protect these lands, people in the future aren't going to be able to hunt on them. If we don't protect these animals, people in the future aren't going to be able to hunt them. Now, is that absolutely selfish? Yes. But does it still protect that land and those animals? Yes. And that's what a lot of our conservation in this country, in the US, was built on. Now, I can't speak for other countries. I don't know other countries. I'm sorry. I'm very US centered. But here in the US, that's what it was founded on, is we need to preserve this for future generations, to also, so they can enjoy it the same way we did. So that's why there's, I believe it's an 11% tax on ammo, fishing tags, hunting licenses, game tags, registering to be a trapper, all that stuff. The reason that we have to pay the money is so that we can give back to conservation. Like, I hear people, it's like listening to nails on a chalkboard to me when they're like, oh, you can't even drop a fishing line in the river without them charging you. Yeah, because that's how we fund things, to make sure that you still have a river to fish from. That's where we get money to stock the river with fish that you are taking. That's how we fund our wildlife conservation and habitat restoration, is through these fees. So unless we want to do something, like I actually wish we would, impose an 11% tax on all outdoor sporting goods. So if you want to buy like tents or fishing poles, maybe a basketball, something like that. If we started adding a tax to that, that would drive up our, that would give a huge boost to it. Tents and everything, especially camping gear, I absolutely think should be taxed. But people don't want to pay more money to have nice things. So we get it from hunting, because they were willing to pay for it. Just look at like the Duck Stamp Act and everything like that. So I realized that that is how we fund it. That's why a lot of people who are, as a career, involved in studying wildlife and trying to help wildlife, understand that hunting is an unfortunate main part of how we fund it. So until that changes, yes, I do support it, because that's how our conservation happens. And also, it's not like they're just saying, oh, okay, guys, go out and kill as many animals as you want, have fun. Now, some species they do, like coyotes, yes, they, at least here in my state, I know for sure, they even still have hunting derbies where you go out and kill as many animals as you can as a contest. I think those should all be illegal, but we're working on it. But you can kill a coyote in my state without having any kind of a hunter's permit, without any kind of a licensing, without a game tag, anything. It doesn't even have to be attacking you. It could just be, oh yeah, I was on my property, so I shot it. Okay, that's fine. But if I want to go pick up a roadkill coyote, that's illegal. I love our laws. So, except for cases like that, tags are how we fund, that's where the money, that's where the revenue comes in from. And it's also how we regulate it and say, okay, well, the scientists who do the data and who do the research on these animals are going to look at this and say, okay, how many animals are in this population? All right, how many do we expect to die naturally? Okay, now how many can die total on top of this naturally, until the population is too low to survive? And so they take that number and they say, all right, that's how many hunting tags we can issue this year. And getting a hunting tag does not guarantee that you'll kill the animal, but that's basically they're counting as this is how many animals can die without the population suffering. So that's why I'm against eradication methods, because it's completely taking that out of the picture. The laws right now, if you're watching this, it's February, early February. There's laws being proposed in Montana right now to try to drive down the wolf population. That's only at something like 850 individuals, 850 wolves, that is. They're trying to lower the population, and they're saying, oh, well, let's just let people go ham on it. Who needs tags? Who needs regulations? Let's just make it open season like we do with our coyotes. Hopefully, if you just listen to me, you understand why that's a problem on multiple levels. For one, you're removing a huge revenue for wildlife conservation. For two, you're not keeping account of how many of those animals are dying. And wolves are already being poached in those areas, which is a huge issue. So we need to, I don't know, we need to do more for them. So if you're in Montana, please go look into that and please write your lawmakers. And if you're not in Montana like me, help boost it like I just did. So yeah, basically, it's not like we're just pulling these numbers out of our butt. We are making sure that we're not taking too much, but we're still allowing enough that we're getting those funds. Some animals, you even have to enter a lottery and hope you pull a ticket. He's not technically my uncle, but he's a family friend who we consider an uncle. He couldn't come to my wedding because he pulled a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to go shoot, I think it was like bighorn rams or something. He got an opportunity to shoot and hopefully, successfully hunt an animal that you have to enter a lottery for. He's like, I'm sorry, but this is literally a once-in-a-lifetime hunt. I'm taking it. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. So it's, it's not a free-for-all. People seem to think it's a free-for-all. It's not a free-for-all. Fishing, there's bag limits and everything. There's size limits. There's a reason for those. This is the reason, is to make sure that the wildlife can still live. So this has been a really long-winded rant about why I am able to support these things, even though I don't like the fact that animals die. If I could make it so we didn't have to kill animals, that'd be cool. I mean, hey, we're already working towards lab-grown meat and everything. Let's see how that goes. But we're not there yet. So I'm going to keep loving the ones that have already passed. There's nothing I can do for them. No amount of wishing or well-meaning will bring these animals back to life. I don't pay people to hunt them. I don't pay people to trap them. I'm not going out there and killing them myself. Am I paying for their death in a way? Yeah. But I understand. I'm okay with the ways that these are obtained. For the reasons that I've said in this video, that's why I'm okay with it. I may not like it, and I'm going to keep trying to work to, help push laws, and I'm going to donate to places that force regulations and try to make it so that we do the least harm and do more conservation. I'm going to keep donating to those. I'm going to keep boosting them. But in the meantime, these guys are already gone. And I hope I can use them for educational opportunities with people and to make them care about animals. There's something very special about seeing an animal up close and being able to touch it. I think it's more efficient with live animals, but this is what I got and this is what I can work with. I'm going to keep doing things on my end and hope that we can just keep doing better. So, but I'll be sad about it. I do get sad that they're dead. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to pretend that this doesn't make me sad, that I don't look at them sometimes and cry, that I don't tell them I'm sorry that they're dead. But in my way, I have rationalized it in my brain. So that's just me. That's just my personal rationalization. I'm not speaking for anyone else. I'm not saying that I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying what goes on in here for people who are confused. All right, this has been a very long video. So thank you all for watching. And if you're still here, I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.